All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video with numbers. Right, I have something really special for you guys. Just need to turn down this music a little bit. Need to be able to hear myself think. Okay, so as you guys know, a lot of the content I run on this channel is based around Live Arena. Live Arena is actually active right now. We might do a little bit of battles within this session. We'll see how it goes. Now we won't. We won't. We'll make that a different one. But anyway, what I want to talk to you guys about is live arena team composition and pick choices. Right. I think a lot of people, especially new people into live arena per se, struggle to kind of understand what kind of teams to, pick and build. I'm gonna go through a few teams with you guys here, a few options rather, that I feel are very good for Live Arena and the way you should set out your teams. So let's start with a general setup of a team. Right, so I just got a spreadsheet here. Zoom in a little bit. All right, so it's pretty simple. The rules for your team, right? Two attack champs or nuke champs, whatever. It could be a defense-based champ. So we'll actually name it nukers. Two nukers. All right. Now the reason you need two is because if you just bring support champions, they'll ban a support champ, right? And then you need two support champs, right? Preferably support and speed. Okay. Just do this. So both of them need to kind of be able to fill those roles of being a support and a speed champ, right? If you're lucky enough and you have a speed nuker, your changes up. Okay. And then you can use a debuff, or I'll call him a strip champ, right? And then the last slot, because you get to pick 5 champs, 2, 4. No, this is not last slot, what I'm saying. Yeah. So you take in 4 champions, you get to pick 5. Okay. So this debuff or strip slot, sorry, is actually like that. There we go. All right. So your first 2 slots that you're going to use, actually, you need to swap these around. So your first 2 slots need to be your support and speed, right? And then your next 2 slots need to be your nukers, and your last pick is kind of like that extra champ that you have, that would complement the team if they ban a speed or a nuker from your team, right? So you also kind of have to sit back and think like, if I pick this kind of team, given the team my opponents picked, who is most likely to get banned? So I'll give you an example team, right? So I go Arbiter into Esme, right? So these are 2 speed champs. Um, Arbiter's got a 30% boost, whereas Esme has a 19% boost, right? Nukers, I go Alice and Modo usually, right? But Modo can also be swapped out with Ninja or Karato, right? So I kind of have a main nuker who's Alice, and the reason she's my main nuker is because she brings cooldown manipulation, right? Which is really good. And then I have an extra debuff strip or just extra champ slot. This slot is where I bring in Nell. Now, the reason I bring Nell in here is because if there's Stone Skin, the only people I have on my account, I don't have an attacker that can smash through Stone Skin. A nuker such as He-Man or a Sulfurion who can just burn it away. And I don't have a Nishak who can bomb through Stone Skin. So what's the next best bet? To strip. So with this setup, right, Alice has the possibilities to strip on her A1. So if it's just one champion Stone Skin, it's a little bit easier. But if they're all built in Stone Skin, Ismay has a strip. Arbiter has a 1 turn reduction for buffs. And Nell has a strip. So you have 3 strips in this team. Arbiter and Ismay brings speed, right? So these two are my fastest champs. I want them to go first. Now, the reason Ismay isn't used as much compared to Arbiter, because Arbiter has a speed boost, while Ismay, or let me not say speed boost, she has a turn meter boost, right? Whereas Ismay has turn meter decrease for the opponent. Okay, so why is this important to note? Well, turn meter decrease effects sometimes don't always work. If your opponent's under Stone Skin, it's not going to decrease their turn meter. If you weak hit, it's not going to decrease their turn meter. So going into certain fights, Ismay might not be able to fulfill the role of making sure I go next. Now, how do I work around that is with Nell. Nell does the strip, but she also gets turn meter boost from the enemy's buffs, right? Then the enemy buffs up when the enemy increases turn meter, whatever the case, Nell gets a boost. So chances are, right, I'm getting an Arbiter ban. Okay, that's for me, that's kind of the usual. Arbiter gets banned, and I lean into Esme for my speed boost. Alice does cooldown manipulation, and then this second nuka slot is just to take down the rest. All right. Sorry about that. I was just on a phone call quickly. But anyway, Modo, Ninja, or Karato, they are there to pretty much take down everybody else. But this is the tricky part about Live Arena. You have to speed tune your teams so well, right? So you need your booster or your turn meter manipulator, shall I call them, Arbiter, Esme, to go first, right? You need Nell, who does the strip or the debuff, to go second. And then you need, depending on how your team is set up. So for me, my fastest nuker is actually Karato, and that's because he brings block active skills. So I'll use that block active skills on them, and then it goes over to Alice, who does the AoE cooldown manipulation of skills. So in case Karato misses one, Alice can take it on. And then Modo, who brings an AoE double hit stun, right? So if he lands those stuns, basically the same as just having, it's pretty much them missing a turn and you just thrashing them through that missed turn. Sometimes works, sometimes doesn't work. Ninja brings the freeze, right? He's not my fastest champ, but he brings a freeze. So if he goes last, but he goes before their champs, freezes them, and you pretty much set yourself up to get another turn with your nuker, which is Alice in this case. Nell is special though. She is a mythical. I know I've been blessed to get her. She works as both a support, strip, and debuff, as well as an attack champ who brings true fear. So in cases where I lose both nukers and it's just, let's say, Nell and Esme left, then I swap Nell over and I true fear to kind of buy myself time for Esme to then strip the buffs if they've put buffs up or keep their turn meter low. And if the true fear procs, their nukers miss turns, their supports miss turns, and kind of the synergy works great for those two. If I get Arbiter, chances are I'm winning the speed race, I'm boosting up and getting increased attack, and I could most likely nuke. All right, but that's enough about that. Let's go straight into the game. All right, so I'm not going to go into Live Arena right now, but we're going to look at the champs first. So, support champs, Arbiter, amazing. I don't know if we can, let's see, support champs. Yeah, so, oh, I forgot to include Ancora. And Korra is also another great support champ. So we've got Arbiter and Korra and Esme. Sometimes I like to bring in Loki, but not often. And then we have Nell. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those 5 champs can work as support. So Loki, not the speed support, neither is Nell, but they work more in the extra support role. You know, the extra role. That's when you can bring Loki or Nell. Now, the next thing we need to discuss about these champs is how to kit them out and how to use them. Like I said, you want them to go super fast. So if you look at my Korra, she's actually my fastest champ, 308 speed. Esme, 298 speed. Arbiter's a bit slow, I think, 286 speed, but that's because she's really tanky, 92k HP. So yeah, she's not going down easily. And Korra, speed boost, such as a cleanse, shield buff, um, and a turn meter full. It's only 10%, but you know it's useful, it's helpful. And she brings a revive. Arbiter, full team revive, turn meter boost, and increase attack. Strip. So Arbiter's the full package that you want to get. Esme, on the other hand, turn meter reduction, weaken and block buffs. And you have this strip with increased accuracy, increased speed, and she brings increased attack on her A1. And then now we've gone over, she's bringing the strip on A2, debuffs on the A3, A1 turn meter control as well. Swap her over. Oh, and she brings poison, so really helpful with that. Swap her over. She can use her fears to kind of keep the teams at bay. She has extra turns. This procs into that. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can use her. Just keep her going. Loki, you want to bring into teams where you know your nukers aren't going to go and you're going to lock out their active skills, right? Now, the next big thing I want to talk about, especially for, I suppose, my current ranking in Live Arena, is dealing with someone like Siegfried and dealing with someone like, no, not Shadowkin, sorry, Nice, right? So these two are the pinnacle of Live Arena. Okay, not the pinnacle, but they're really good Live Arena champs, especially in terms of nukers. And the reason being is that they will resist death pretty much. So Nell's case, Nice's case, sorry, prevents his death, keeps him alive at 1 HP when receiving fatal damage, and transforms him into his alternate form. Right? So he'll be kept alive and he'll transform. How do you counteract Nice? Well, okay, let's go over Siegfried's kit because they kind of get contacted the same way. Siegfried, on the other hand, um, blocks incoming damage when he's about to get killed, places block damage on himself for 2 turns, heals him by 50% of his max HP, and gives him 100% turn meter. Crazy, I know. But there is a way to deal with him. So, when you go up against someone like Siegfried, who places the block damage when he's about to receive a fatal hit, you need someone like Esme, or someone similar to Esme, or Loki, who brings a block buffs debuff. So Esme has around 100% chance of placing, and she's positive affinity against both of them, right? So chances are she lands these. Also be wary though that sometimes Siegfrieds and Nices are built in ferals, so they have that they get the block debuffs. Yeah, if that's the case, you can use this A2 to steal buffs, or just like cycle with the A1 to get increased attack, and use Nell or Arbiter, whoever it is, to kind of decrease those durations. Nell will steal, Arbiter will decrease duration. Then, when you kill a Nice, right, what you need is a double hitter. So when he transforms, he gets a second hit, and that's what kills him. Or you just need your champs to have a soul on them, and that soul needs to be soul. And that blessing needs to be soul reap. So Moto's got 1 star, right? So target threshold is 4%, which is absolutely nothing. But if I hit them with this A2 skill move, right? I place the stun debuff, right? This works for Siegfried as well. You place the stun debuff on them, meaning that when they transform, especially Siegfried misses out on his turn. Okay, that's the important part. Siegfried will miss his turn because it'll be CC'd. If I'm not mistaken, it should work with Ninja's freeze as well. So the freeze will stop Siegfried from taking that turn with because his turn meter gets boosted, and he'll just revert to having base or empty turn meter at the start and waiting for his turn to cycle through. So block buffs will stop Siegfried from getting the block damage buff, and then a CC will stop him from getting a turn. In the case of Nice, same thing. The CC will stop him from getting a turn once he swaps over, and the Soul Reap will automatically kill Nice after he's transformed. That's just what I've noticed. It might not always work. I don't know. Not had enough opportunities to test it, but the last couple of times I did face a Nice with Siegfried, that's what happened. Also depends on the person you're going up against. Some of these people might have their champs built out incredibly tough. I mean, like super tough, so it's very difficult to take them down. And that is the case for one such fellow. Um, this guy, Star Sage Galathea. Now, he's usually just a people build him with insane resistance because of this passive, and because his active is so good, it's very difficult to kill him. He's great in almost all areas of the game as well. So if you have him, I'm really happy for you. That's all I can really say. You just keep him in this form to keep him from dying, pretty much. Build him out with insane resistance. So you need enough to get this 25 stack, right? Which is 500 resistance. So get 500 resistance, you get 25% decreased damage on him. How do you kill him? You just gotta, for one, make sure you're able to CC him, which is very difficult, by the way, because you need at least 600-700 accuracy, right? And that's mid to high end. Once you reach high end, he could be built with like 800-900 resistance. I'm assuming. So you'd have to push that accuracy count incredibly high. So very difficult champ to deal with. Another great champ for Live Arena to bring into Live Arena, who is a free champ, is Mithrala. Now, kind of like Galathea, but not exactly the same. She doesn't bring the damage reduction, but what she does bring is increases her resistance by the same amount as which it is as your accuracy. So if your accuracy on her is, let's say, 500, you are going to get 500 resistance. So she can be very good champ to place debuffs such as Hex. She can be a very good champ to place these poisons. And then on top of that, she's tanky with 20k HP, 1.3k defense. She's pretty quick, 109 base speed, and she brings strengthen and shield buffs on her A3. So a really, really, really difficult champ to deal with if you have her, which most people should at some point in the game. I pick mine up next week. So she will really come in clutch for you if you have her. She kind of does the work of keeping you alive if you have a champ who, if you have the champ, shall I say. Where is he? There's Skinwalker. Right. If you used your Monkey King and got this guy who just continually revives himself at 100% HP and 100% turn meter. If you have this guy, you are in for a ride pairing him with Galathea or Mithrala. Because as long as they don't have a block damage champ, a block revive champ on their team, you're just gonna outlive, bring him back, nuke, bring him back, nuke. Wukong is a really good champ for that. I struggle to have an answer to him. The only answer to that, if let's say someone, and if you watch my previous video, I think it was the video before, we faced up against quite a few Wukong and Mithrala teams. Also, nice thing with Wukong, if I forgot to mention this, it's a 28% arena speed aura. So he functions as a speed support for speed boosting, as well as a nuker. So then you can kind of shy away from bringing a speed aura support and just bring a good support, such as what's his name? I know he's difficult to get, but Warlord for lockout. You could bring a Python, a Krisk. Those are champs that will just be like tanky to keep you alive. Lysandra, if you have a really good speed champ as well, 24%. So yeah, Wukong, He-Man, if you bought him. Where is He-Man? I went too far. 28% speed aura. So those two, Wukong and He-Man, sometimes I think they must bans. If you get the first turn, pick Arbiter, block their 30%. And if they go Wukong, He-Man, my option is always to ban the Wukong because He-Man can't self-revive. So I'd rather ban the Wukong and let He-Man just roam free, because if I beat He-Man in the speed race, I can still win the battle. But Wukong I can beat in the speed race. He's usually built like a freaking glass house, and he just gets killed in the first 2-3 turns and then comes back because they've picked a Python who's really tanky or a Mithrala who's really tanky, and they're just waiting for him to come back and then get a turn. And if you don't have enough CC on your team, or if you just go slightly too slow and he gets the turn, Wukong can nuke your entire team down. So yeah, that's the tricky part to watch out for. But the crux of this whole was make sure you have 2 speed auras, right? Don't know if I clarified that. You need at least 2 speed auras. So mine is either Arbiter and Esme, or if they get the Arbiter pick, I go Ancora and Esme. Might not seem like much, but a 19% speed aura is better than nothing. It's better than going in with just raw speed, shall I say, with no extra bonuses. Chances are you lose the speed race, you lose the fight. But you could win the fight without winning the speed race. And for that, you need a tank team, right? And I pointed out Mithrala to you earlier. The next tank, who some people might have, some people might not have, is actually an undead horde champ, UDK. Also, can be built incredibly tanky, and this is why. Right? So if everyone is dead, this kicks in and keeps himself alive pretty much. And it takes damage, like single target damage, onto himself from his allies. Really annoying to deal with. Brings an A1 provoke, decrease attack and fears, and then shield and continuous heal on himself and allies. So yeah, he can be annoying to deal with. Watch out. Fabian, if you did his fusion, is a really good champ to use. It's a 19% aura, but his fear, true fear on revived opponents comes really clutch. He also brings petrification. So yeah, and it brings 10-meter decrease. We're talking about tanks. UDK, great tank. I don't think Sylvan Watchers have a really good tank. Um, no, they don't have a good tank, but Alva's also pretty good with her speed. The Dwarves also don't have a good, reliable tank, but they do have Torment, who just throws out freeze on everything when you get a 10-meter boost or a buff. It's just annoying. And then you have Arnold, who, when he gets killed, activates, I think it's the skill. Yeah, Wrath of Wrathline, which just nukes everything. I'm not looking at any mythicals. Maybe Empress. Empress isn't a tank, but he's got the strip. He's got the necrosis, which is really good. So yeah, Empress can actually do a lot of work in live arena if you have him. Some people use Eric's as a tank. She's okay. She's not insanely good. Um, you can deal with her because they build her quite slow, and essentially that's to have her just soak up, heal, heal, heal. Everybody else dies, and then she just nukes at the end. Good, but not the best. Um, man, it's tough. Hegemon is great. Can't obviously include him. Dark Elves, like I said, Mithrala, great tank. Would definitely say she's worth investing in. Undead Hordes we went over. Demon Spawn. Drakestar could be a good tank for you in Demon Spawn. He can be both really tanky, and his passive will just throw out HP burns on everyone that attacks him. Duchess, great for tanking because it decreases damage taken by AoE. So really great for tanking things. Wither can be a good tank for you. Volcanos is obviously Volcanos, whatever. He's the best. Just throw him in a full Demon Spawn team, and yeah, you don't actually even need to do anything. Build him tanky, build him really good and tanky. Put him a Demon Spawn team, and yeah, his HP burns will just take care of everything. Helicath has fallen off in terms of tankage, but that's okay. Orcs, wouldn't really say there's any good orc tanks to use. Skinwalker's Uko. Uko could be a good tank for you. Nora could also be a decent tank after his buff. Not great though, but early game, if that's the champ you pull, you could kind of use him. He's immune to CCs, and it decreases the damage taken by all allies under one or more buff. So, he could be used. He could be used. Lizardmen, Python, amazing tank. Krisk, very good tank as well. Ogren tribes, haven't. Ogren tribes actually have a really good Void, which is Gogo. Hate coming up against him. He's got a 30% aura, and then he freezes and nukes. He's really tough to deal with. Barbarian tanks, Elsgore, kind of. Xena is really good. You can't get her anymore. But she's really good. Freya is a tank. Yeah, she keeps your nuker alive. Yeah, I think that's all from here. Sacred Order. Wixwell can tank for you. Not really an arena champ, but you can try. You can use the free champ auto, brings a 25% speed aura, which is pretty good. Elves. Iston can kind of tank because he's got this passive that whenever he's attacked, heals himself by 1% for each 500 defense. So build him with a lot. So he's already healing himself just off base 60. He's healing himself by 3% per attack. And then heals all allies under ally protection by 30% of the skill's initial heal. So I mean, build him out with, let's say, 5k defense. He's getting what, 500? That's 224. So 10% heal, which is really good. Nathral's okay. It's not really that tanky though. Bannerlords, Staltus is tanky. He'd be really good for this. Timid can also be both really tanky, and Marichka, but we're not gonna look at her. Aelin, free champ, login champ that people have, can also be really difficult to deal with because they build a really tanky. So yeah, you'd really want to take Aelin out ASAP whenever you come up against her. So yeah, just remember supports, you need speed. If you're going for the tanky build team, so make sure you have a team that can outlast and someone like Drakestar who when he gets attacked places HP burns. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me on Live Arena, guys. Hope this kind of helped you. If it did, let me know. If there's something else I might have missed or that you want me to cover, let me know. We'll go over it, we'll speak about it. Yeah. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. I've been Numbers with Rachel Legends. Cheers.